Hello, my name is Michelle Moore. I was super honored to be asked to participate, especially because I know that this isn't only a work of love for Mr. Masick, but something that is so near and dear to his heart and to the experiences that he's been through with the passing of his dad, that they were so close and that this man had such an impact on his life and continues to do so. So, really is an honor. So, thanks, Chris. And also, your real life sister is pretty freaking awesome. So, that's also an honor to play her, I guess, in a way. And I think her name is also Michelle, which is kind of serendipitous. So, so let's say on to the questions. So how did I get involved with the project? Well, Chris asked me, which was pretty cool. He and I worked together before. He did some amazing vocals for the project that I work with my company, Midschool Math. Even helped write some melodies, and we sang together even though we only had one mic between us. Chris is a super funny, imaginative, really genuine person, and it's been a pleasure to know him, and I'm happy to call him friend. My background is in theater. I've been doing it my whole life. My degree is in theater and communications, and I also minored in digital media and film. So what I've been doing professionally is a lot of post-production work and voiceover and sound design. So I guess it's kind of a natural thing to do. So I do enjoy performing, and I especially like doing it on the mic. So perhaps that's why Chris asked me to become involved. He and I have had some really great conversations about art and being an artist. I have seen him perform several times, and I have to say that he's incredibly unique, creative, and prolific. This young man, I believe, has gone far and will go even farther professionally as a musician. He's incredibly talented and ambitious. A concept album is not something a lot of people would take on, I guess. So it's been really cool to hear a little bit about his process. And I know this has been a very long sort of journey for him. And again, that journey does continue with the actual publishing of Chuck. So what was my first impression of the album? I have to say, just generally overall, I really enjoyed it. I especially loved the overture, which I had heard before. He played that for me when we got together to record the scenes. But it really does bring you into a new space, I guess, if you will, to space. So really sets the tone, and I enjoyed that. And I think really the word that comes to mind when I think about my first impressions of the album is like ephemeral and almost dreamlike. You do feel as if you're sort of taking a journey and going into almost a kind of trance, which is wonderful for a concept album because that's what you want, right? You want your audience to go somewhere with you. And so, yes, we turned out the lights, closed our eyes, and just listened, which I think, too, is something that in our modern sort of media-driven world in which we are living in, that media, the content itself becomes cacophony, and there's just so much of it. And to actually sit and listen to something for an hour or two with no distractions and no pop-ups and no, anything else is sort of a meditation. And I believe that album that the Chuck album does also provide that for you as a listener, as a kind of a meditation. Of course, the music is beautiful. I love that there is a sense of play with different tastes of different genres, and maybe not necessarily a full-on rock thing, which is great. It's really great. Of course, I was reminded of Mr. David Bowie, whom I have a special affinity for, and whom Chris has sort of reminded me of a little bit in the past, because he is conceptual and he does visualize this place that he wants to take you to, even in his live show where he's playing completely alone. Reminding me even of, I used to be one of those Doors fans, and I still love the Doors. But there's something that, I don't know, I think it's something you do in your 20s maybe. But I was a huge fan of Jim Morrison, and just pretty much ate up anything I could find that was published by him or about him. And one of the things he prophesied during an interview at a strip club in Los Angeles with, I don't know what this was for, Rolling Stone maybe or something, but he did visualize that one day it would just be one person that could make all of the music. And that has indeed happened. At the time when I was reading that interview, I thought of Trent Reznor, although he didn't play alone, but just the idea that someone can take their vision and bring it to life, and that he has the talent and wherewithal to be able to play multiple instruments. He's writing scenes and dialogue. He's writing lyrics, like super clever and, almost catchy. I'd say there's a few hooks in this piece. So it's happening with Chris Music. So he really is a singular talent. So I think that would lead me on to this final question here. Saying, what would I say to people who are considering backing the campaign, or talking about the Chuck album? I would say to anyone, whether you are a loving family member or a hard-nosed producer or, music executive type, that Chris is special. He's incredibly talented. He's kind. He's wise beyond his years. And the fact that he keeps working all the time shows me, and would show you, I hope, too, that this is like, making music is like breathing to him. When they talk about, and I know I should know this because this was part of what I went on to do with my life in a much smaller way than I maybe planned when I was in my teens. But that they would always say to you, you want to be an actor, you want to be a musician, you want to be famous, you don't want to be these things. But if there's anything else you can do, you probably should, because this is a really, really difficult business, is being the business of entertainment. But if you just have to do it, that's when you pursue it. And I believe that Chris has to do this. I don't see him doing anything else. And the gift that he gives to us with his music is incredible. And it can be life-changing. And I don't mean to go over the top with this. This is exactly how I feel. As performers, some may say that we have a responsibility to our public or to the world. And I would say that is true in a way. But something that we do, if we're lucky enough, is to share the human experience with someone else. And whether that be a stadium full of, 60,000 people, or a single person listening to an album in the dark. That human experience that we share with one another is part of the beauty of what art is and why we make it. We share our stories, and it becomes this back and forth exchange of energy and love. And I absolutely feel that with Chris's work. The Chuck album is fantastic. I would say absolutely please back it, whether you're giving money or advice or giving him a leg up to get him somewhere further in the industry where he has more money to play with, more time to create his work and to grow as an artist. We should absolutely 100% support that. I don't know what else I can say except Chris is an incredible, talented artist. And the Chuck album is pretty freaking awesome. And I don't know what I was doing when I was like 25, but it sure wasn't something as epic as this. So please contribute. And even if you don't have financials to contribute, simply sending prayers for him and his work, and to continue this expression of love and send that out into the universe is a wonderful gift. So thank you, Chris, for inviting me to share this experience with you. And I can only hope that so many others get to share in the experience of Chuck and his continuing saga. Thanks, man. Peace out.